This week, it's a double dose of fishing action on Minnesota's Mille Lacs Lake. First, Keith Walleyes takes his boys trolling for big open water walleyes.
Look at there.
All right.
Here's out about 300. Right here, flatline lip. Good job. Nice job, Bill.
Keith Walleyes and sons Bill and Mikey have traveled to Mille Lacs Lake in central Minnesota to do some trolling with crankbaits. Their targets are the numerous walleyes that inhabit the open water basin areas of this giant body of water. The anglers are confident they can put some nice walleyes in the boat, but they're going to have to put up with an annoying bug hatch that has recently plagued Mille Lacs.
I can hardly wait till it gets about 90 degrees out here, a little humid. Instead of just flying around like this, they'll stick to you, maybe crawl in your ears and up your nose a little. Gotta love fishing.
Line counter reels aid Walleyes in letting out the right amount of line to get the crankbaits down into the strike zone. Once the desired length of line is out, a planer board is attached to move the presentation out away from the boat.
Right there, Bill, out here. Easy with it.
Oh, it feels like a big one.
Yeah, crunch the old board right back. Here, I'm gonna just, hold on a second, I'll take this board off for you. Oh yeah, he's pulling on there a little. Got her?
Yep.
Okay, just keep it out to the side here. And then Mike, I'll have you hop right up on that back deck there. When he gets to the surface, then you'll be netting him, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is out there. See him? See him, Mike?
Yeah.
In that real clear water, you can see him plain as day.
That's awesome.
Okay, Mikey, get him, right there, get him. All right, nice fish, guys.
Nice net job, Mike.
Look at that. He really smacked it. He's got both hooks crossways. You can tell that's a real aggressive fish because when they bite it like that, they're really wanting to smack it. And he got it with both hooks. Why don't you hand me a pliers there, Mikey? Thank you. Look at this fish. Bit the old clown shad wrap. Yeah, nice lure. It's got bright colors on it. They can see it a long way in this clear water. Good fish though, guys. Billy, you want to hold her up? It's your fish. Just hold him real carefully under the gill. Take a look at him a little bit and then we'll get him back in the water quick. Nice fish, Bill.
Thanks.
Okay, just get his head in the water a little bit and kind of work him a little. There he goes. Good job, Bill. What we're fishing is open water fish, which means that these fish aren't on the structure, they aren't on a hump or anything like that. They're just out in the mud basin. And so what we're doing is trying to, first of all, spread out our lures. You can see we've got a rod with a board out to that side, and then another board out to this side, and then we have our third line just running flat back here. The reason I've chosen to use boards is because many of the fish that we're marking on the screen are suspended. They're up off the bottom, and we're seeing a lot of the fish 20 foot down or so. Well, in this extremely clear water, if you weren't using boards, your motor is going to spook a lot of those fish. To get away from that spooking, we use the boards to spread our lines out. I am, however, running one deep rod here because I'm marking a lot of fish on the bottom. This is a lead core rod, so that the line is actually filled with lead, brings the lure down a lot deeper, and I'm trying to run this one real close down to the bottom because we are marking a few fish down there. So I'm trying to spread my lures widthwise, but I'm also spreading them up and down to try and figure out the hot active zone. Fish on, right out here, the board.
I got it.
You can see it. You can see it just bending back that way. Well, huh?
Feels pretty big.
It's a big fish technique. You don't catch a lot of little ones doing this. Okay, here comes the board, Mike.
I got it.
Now we'll just swing it up to me and then I'll unclip it for you.
Okay.
How does he feel?
Pretty big.
Pretty big. How far, Mikey?
50.
Why don't you go ahead and get the net for him there, Billy? It's coming in pretty good. Get her extended out. Get him, Bill, get him! Get him! There you go, nice net job. Way to go, Bill. All right. Oh, that's a good fish. Look at here. Oh, look what he's got here. Little tiny perch he's got in his mouth. That's what they're eating out here. It's surprising they would want that big of bait, but you can see there's some of the greens and stuff and the silvery sides on them, so I don't know. It's working. It's working. This is a nice fish though. Look at that.
All right.
Very cool, Mikey. Good job. Here, just hold him up there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's still lively. All right, cool, huh?
Good job.
Nice fish, Mikey. Very nice. Oh yeah, there, he's gonna go fine.
The real deal. Straight talk to help make you a better fisherman.
You know, Mille Lacs is really known for a multitude of different structures. You know, a lot of rock along the shorelines. You got the big classic mud flats up in the northwest side of the lake. But what I'm fishing today is just open water. I'm not fishing any of that structure at all. I'm just fishing out where it's basically a mud bottom. We've got a bug hatch going on today, so the bugs are coming up out of that mud. Probably some bait fish are in there eating them bugs. And of course the walleyes are around the bait fish. But it's a little bit tougher bite because there's so many bait that the walleyes can just eat all day, basically gorge themselves with little perch or other kinds of minnows. So that's a lot of times where crankbaits are really good, because a crankbait oftentimes will entice more of a striking bite than an eating bite. That crankbait coming by, maybe it's got just the right vibration. You pull it by 1,000 fish over here and number 1001 takes and grabs it. The neat thing about the technology for today on electronics is that in the past you really didn't know where these mud flats were. The fish still relate to those, and every once in a while they move up on those to eat. But when they're not there, they move out into the basin. So I want to show you something on this map. What I'm actually doing is, you know, each of these little lines here is outlining these mud flats. And what I'm doing is actually working along the edges of those. And this little arrow here is my boat position, and I can see exactly where I am. So I'm not running up onto those bars. You know, especially with my lead core line, I've got that set right down close to the bottom. If I'd run up on those bars, I'd get them all mucked up. So I can use this map to kind of guide myself around the lake, staying off those flats, but keeping out in the mud flats where we're finding the fish. Look at here, boys. Look at, here's a 20-foot fish up here, suspended like that. And then you can see right next to it, look at these two big clouds of bait fish. That's good stuff. Here's one down on the bottom. You know, that's all good things. We're seeing a lot of activity on the screens. So that means that, you know, our crankbaits are running by lots of fish, and that's what you need in open water. Lots of activity, get you lots of fish. Right here, flatline lead, right here. Oh, I just put a new lure on there too.
How's it feel, big?
He's an all right one. I guess this is my rod, huh? Well, he's staying deep, but on the lead core, this was a bottom fish down here. We're marking suspended and bottom fish, but this lead core, we were going after the lower fish.
Should he get the net?
Yeah, go ahead and get the net. We're down to 37 feet out here, so, oh yeah. Boy, he engulfed that little bait. I don't even see it in his mouth hardly. Pretty fish. Can you get him out there, Bill? Good job. Nice job, Bill. I've taught you well over the years. Look at here how he had this bait, though. He had it all gobbled up. We saw some of them little perch on the surface and figured that these fish might be eating them. I put on this smaller bait, it's a little tail dancer, and I guess that little smaller bait worked pretty darn good. Look at the size of them. I'll show you something that a lot of people don't like on a fish, but these are what's called cold water warts. It's just in the spring the fish will develop those. It doesn't really hurt the fish at all. Doesn't make the fish sick or bad or anything. And as summer goes on and the water warms up a little, those will just shrink away and you'll never know it was there. One of the nice things about the new electronics that are out is that you can move along very quickly and try and find fish. I'm moving along about 20, 22 miles an hour here, and fish are showing up very clearly on here. In fact, here's some nice marks. They show up actually as not just a little blip going by, but as actual red marks on the screen. And those red marks on these color units show that there's a big fish down there. Now, unlike when you're moving slow, the actual marks are going to be very small on your screen, but it points them out very quickly. And that's important on a place like this where you've got just expansive areas of open water and you're trying to find out where the fish are schooled up. So I can move around very quickly, watching my depth finder and see those. The reason that you can do that these days is that the new units have very quick processors in them. Much like your laptop or your home computer, these new processors allow them to shoot down the sound signals much quicker. That's called your ping speed. And so you can turn your ping speed way up, you can get a fast scroll speed, you can move along very quickly with your boat, and you can try and find the fish that you want to catch. Fish on right there, Bill. Right there.
Seems like a big one.
Big open water walleyes and quality time with the kids definitely makes for a great time outdoors. Sure, the weather was muggy and the bugs a little thick, but it was nothing the Walleyes clan couldn't handle.
We could be like the gorilla family, and I could just sit here and...
Besides, when Bill and Mikey recount this trip, it's doubtful they'll mention anything except how big the fish were.
Very nice, Mike. Wow, good job.
Good job, Mike.
Sight Bites, answers to questions from the Next Bite website.
This week's question comes from Sam in New York. Now, Sam says, I have a lot of trouble with my hooks getting dull and beat up when I'm fishing in rocks for walleyes. So what do you guys do to keep your hooks sharp under these conditions?
What I want to talk about and discuss is a hook technology. Being a walleye fisherman, I'm not only a television show host, but I fish professionally in tournaments under competition at the highest of levels. And it's absolutely critical that I use hooks that stay sharp. All hooks are sharp. That's, let's face it. If you can pick up a hook package any place and you're going to end up poking yourself with it. But what I'm looking for, especially as a walleye tournament fisherman, is a hook that will stay sharp, because I'm constantly dragging stuff on the bottom. I'm rigging, I'm bottom bouncer fishing, I'm jigging. So this technology that I'm talking about is a hook sharpening process in which the hook is basically put into a point by leaving a good shoulder of metal. It's called ultra point technology by Mustad, and there's a very specific process in which they do this. It's super sharp, but much more important to me is the durability of the sharpness. We have it basically in a lot of different varieties. We've got bait style hooks for tying spinners and snells, neon colored hooks for rigging, and triple grips for like crankbait applications and spinner applications. Keith Walleyes and I get a chance to design a lot of tackle for companies. And we designed a jig for Bass Pro Shops, an XPS jig we call it. We did a lot of special things to this jig, but the hook of choice was ultra point hook. And the reason for it is I can fish this jig all day long and I'm not going to have a dull hook. So for me it's important. I think it gives me a competitive edge. I think from a standpoint of just going fishing, I don't have to fool around with retying snells and jigs all day long. Ooh, he's a nice one.
Yeah.
There you go.
On the Next Bite website, you can not only submit questions to our staff, but also check out a large library of articles and tips, and even get involved in the forum page. All great information to help you get your next bite.